What's up, everybody? Dark Knight 316, Robert Wheeler Gaming, and this is the Roundtable Podcast. All right, we start every episode with "What are you drinking?" So, what'd you bring us?
It is a energy drink Naruto
From G Fuel.
If you can see,
It's the G Fuel,
Naruto.
and then I got the Crash Bandicoot from the G4 or G Fuel, not G4. I'm drinking it in a mug today. I'm gonna drink it in my Golden Knights mug.
And I'm just
with
gonna
my
spill
Golden
it all
Knight
over
shirt.
myself. So
Yeah, let's see how this one is. So while I'm pouring,
that's pretty good.
what have you been playing?
I am slowly trying to get through Resident Evil.
The first one or second one?
I am in part 2. I finished the first 2, 0 and 1, and now I'm working on 2. And I can tell you right now that 2 is actually really good. And I was reading about it because a lot of people were talking about how 2 is, they don't understand why 2 is everybody's favorite and stuff like that. But I know when playing this game right now, the controls are a lot better than 0 and 1. So that's why I'm enjoying 2.
But you're also playing it in the remake, though,
And I'm playing the remake.
the OG
correct.
one.
Yeah, not the OG one. But 2, even though it's the remake, it's still, like, the controls are better. I could see if they remade 0 and 1 with better controls, those games would probably be more interesting. But, because the 2, the story isn't anything that's, like, as good as what you see with, like, 5, for instance, since I'm biased to 5. But, other than that, it's pretty good.
Well, I think everybody's says that their favorite Resident Evil 2 is because that's the one they started with. Most people didn't play 1, and then 0 came out later. But, excuse me. But I think everybody started with 2 because I don't really remember 1. 0, I only remember being on the train. I don't remember, you were telling me that there's way more stuff a part of it. I only remember the train part. And then 2, I remember playing 2 more than the than the memories of 1. So I think that's how it is with everybody else. Is their memory is more of 2 than it is of 1. And then like 3, I don't even really remember too much about the nemesis and all that. I just know that he's constantly following you. And then 4, I remember that's a lot of people's best one out of the whole series, because that's the best controls, the best story, everything on it. And then they stopped to liking 5 and 6 because they went more towards action instead of towards
What I never knew, though,
survival horror.
is this game is short. Like, playing through it right now, I'm pretty much almost at the end. I got just a little bit more stuff to do, and then I'm pretty much done at the end. But I didn't realize that these games were that short, because
Yeah,
they want you to play
like so many times. Yeah,
But I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I got to go through it again because I got to play through Claire's side, so it's going to be a little bit longer. But other than that, it was like, I'm having fun right now, enjoying it, even though these are the games that I do not like because you have to play through them 15 times. So,
sorry. Had an M&M peanut.
are you sure it's an M&M?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I've been playing Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. I just got to a part where you get 2 vocationals, so now I can level them up quicker. So I'm probably 20% in the game, like done, because I think that there's still way more like stuff to do. I just got like my 4th character on the team because one of them left, and then stuff happened, and you were there with only 3 characters for a while. So now I have my 4th character, and so right now I'm just trying to build up all the vocational, so I can pretty much, have them all done by the time I get to the end, so I'm not spending the time grinding, because that's what I hated in Dragon Quest 3, is to get like one of the to like learn all the skills. You had to commit to this one job class for about like 90% of the game before you get to level, and like that job class, they would not listen to you. Like any commands, they would just do whatever they want. So you had to deal with them. Maybe they missed. Maybe they, would attack and that kind of stuff. So it was kind of annoying in that part. But once you got that class to, I believe it was like 48, 38, something like that. To level, I think it was 48. And you learned all their magic. Then you could switch their vocation to whatever you wanted better. And then that's, how you learned all the job classes. In this one, now that you have two, you can combine some of them to get the intermediate roles, and then the intermediate roles to the advanced roles to the final role. And so then once you get the final role and you learn everything else, then you can pick, the final role and another secondary role, and then get all the stats and stuff like that for it. So I'm enjoying this game right now. But here's our first story. You were telling me about this. The Xbox president, Sarah Bond, gets massive stock award at her other job. Mm-hmm. So tell me about this one.
Well, apparently she is on the board of Tyson Chicken, and now she gets shares of a company. So they said she works out about $190,000, and this new stock award on her previous allotment of shares brings the total to $4.6 million. It also pays her an annual retainer of $125,000. So I thought this was interesting though, just because, and she's also on the board of USC's Cinematic Arts. But I was always thinking about this as because of biases for companies. That I was thinking of is not only is she, president of
Tyson
Xbox,
Chicken or whatever, yeah,
but she's also on the board of Tyson Chicken. Well, a completely different type of company, but you still think of like in my mind, how can you keep your focus on Xbox, but then you're also having to make sure Tyson Chicken makes money, and then you're on the board of this. Like, how many board of whatevers do you have to be on, and you make that much money? But they also say that she is a gamer, which I don't know how true that is, but I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's okay to be on the boards of multiple things. The only problem is going to be is how does being on the board of like Tyson Chicken or Tyson Foods or whatever, and like understand that business, how will that relate to Xbox? Mm-hmm. Just because you're a gamer doesn't mean you know how to improve the marketability of Xbox, or the ecosystem of Xbox, or
So that's the thing. It's like she went to Yale, got her bachelor's degree in economics, and then her master's degree in business administration.
Okay, so she knows how to run businesses.
So it's like she has that, but she previously worked for T-Mobile and McKinsey, and then became president in 2023. But that's what's weird to me, because it's like, okay, so she joined in 2017 as white, which I didn't get to see too much of that, but you were part of T-Mobile and McKinsey, and then all of a sudden, within a 6-year period, you were able to replace Phil Spencer as the president of Microsoft.
Well, I mean, with the T-Mobile, that's a good thing for her, because when Xbox wants to do the mobile devices with their GROG and all those big portable devices, she'll know the telecommunication stuff on it, on how to, or she should know on how to like make it more plausibility for people to go and buy your stuff, and make it more
And then also, as she's economics, right here she says she also recently talked about how Microsoft next Xbox will be high-end device, prompting concerns that people will be priced out by the time the richer households already make up majority of hardware buyers.
Yeah, that's not good. Even, I mean, Sony was saying that too. And I'm like, you're gonna lose all your core audience basically
Yeah.
because with the way the economy is right now, I mean, not a lot of people can afford a lot of stuff, and if you're not willing to lower your prices to have people do it, then they're not going to buy it. Only the, like they said, the rich people or the higher end clientele will be able to buy it. But you're going to see tons of these ones going on to like eBay or whatever, and people are going to flip them. They're not going to even buy it to go play it. So, I mean, I guess both Microsoft, PlayStation, and all that may have to do this to realize that people can't afford this and then drop it. Because, I mean, look how fast PS3 did that. When they're coming out with it being $5.99, and they're like, well, you can afford a second mortgage on your house to pay for that. And how cocky they were.
Like, no.
And then on how, like, their sales things dropped dramatically, that Microsoft ended up beating them on the console war. And then when they brought out their, like, other versions of it, they dropped the price to $3.99 real quick. And so this is probably what might end up happening for these next gen systems,
But
especially if both next gen systems want to have a handheld and console companionship next year. I think that's, you know, like, is she talking about the system and the handheld together, or just the system itself? But either way, if it's more than like $5.99, I don't see the next gen systems, doing any good, because I believe the PlayStation 5 Pro is like $749. Like, that's ridiculous of a price for it. You should like the PlayStation and all them in their life cycle. It should start going down in price, not still going up in price and stuff. And like, I don't understand their marketing on this. I guess they're just assuming that people will pay whatever they put it on there.
Sorry, I googled this lady. I'm looking at her wiki page. So they said when she was an associate partner at McKinsey and Company, then transitioned to T-Mobile, where she held roles including chief of staff to CEO, and later senior vice president of corporate strategy and development. So then when she joined Microsoft 2017, she started as corporate vice president overseeing gaming business development and partnerships at Xbox. And then she got the position of corporate vice president of game creator experience in the ecosystem. So
she's responsible of all this stuff that's going on there.
So they said that she played a pivotal role in representing Microsoft during the scrutiny bid to acquire Activision Blizzard, and testifying at the 2022 FTC versus Microsoft trial. So to me, though, it's like nothing really talks about her career as like one, this doesn't even talk about what she really did at her other jobs to be able to, like, she started as an associate partner and then also was chief of staff at some point, but like never really talked about the progression of how she got there. And then also when she joined overseeing like the gaming business development side, you got to think if where Xbox has been, if she has been this
she's the reason why
overseeing it.
She's the reason why the Xbox had no games, is because she's the reason why, where she's probably thinking, if I buy all these markets, then we're gonna have to be number one because people will like this stuff.
But you think in an 8-year period, so if she joined in 2017, and she's 9 years now, roughly 9-year period, was a corporate president of creator experience and ecosystem, whatever that means.
Well, that means
how people enjoy your games.
Yeah, like, but then the ecosystem is like how it all will go together.
And then you ended up becoming where she's at now. So to me, and I always look at it in like workplaces and stuff like that. The way that you got this position doesn't fit to what the role is. So yeah, she may have been, CEO and a vice president and stuff like that, but like you may have never been through the ranks, because it doesn't sound like it based off reading her wiki page. but it's like you've never been through the ranks of what it means to develop a game,
Yeah.
what it means to actually like physically.
It just
touch
looks
the
like
game.
she's more of
Got through like corporate
like
ladder.
yeah, like
of-
the business size. It's kind of like I can't remember what company it is, but it's basically like all the technical stuff they give it to the lower people, but when it's like the stuff where it has to do with the business, like they don't understand
Yeah.
the other stuff on it, and so it's like basically that's what she is she's like, oh, all I have to do is buy all these companies, make these deals with these companies, but well, like how is this going to affect our ecosystem? Oh, well, it's not going to, because her like logic is, well, we're buying all these companies. These companies are what people like these games.
Yeah.
So they're gonna come to our system because these companies are here. Let alone of thinking, well, how long is it gonna take for these people to come out with their games? Like, look how it's been. So now it's like where they said that hindsight's 2020, where it's like, okay, she started that role in
2017.
17,
Yeah.
and you see that how just recently those companies that Microsoft acquired are slowly bringing out games, and is no longer bringing out games for just Microsoft. It's coming out for PlayStation, coming out for PC, like all that stuff there. So was it a good idea? I don't think so, because why would you, if you're a competitive company and you're trying to like compete with Sony and Nintendo, why would you want your exclusive games to be on
Exactly.
everything?
And
Like right there, that means that you don't know what your
And that's what I was
ecosystem
looking
is.
at, because when Phil Spencer was promoted to CEO, she became the president. So to me, I'm like, in a 6-year period, if you were gaming, experiences and stuff like that, what did you do within a 6-year period that justifies you to become Xbox president? Like, to me, you got scrutinized over the Blizzard deal. Like, during your time, what was a game that you guys internally worked on that was success, that you could say that was a blueprint of your fingers that you helped put together and things like that?
There isn't.
There isn't.
Her fingers and her things is all
in
she
this
got the Blizzard.
Tyson chicken.
She got
School of
Blizzard.
Cinematic.
She got Activision. She got Bethesda. All those ones to join under the umbrella of Xbox.
But this is where it, to me, makes it feel more of like because she's going to get massive stock in her other job, that eventually, if something were to happen and they had to get rid of her, she could go to Tyson Chicken.
Well, she's not going to worry about
something
it
like that,
because she's already on board on Tyson Chicken, so she's set right now. So if like Xbox goes under and they get rid of her, she's gonna just stay on Tyson Chicken, and then Microsoft's gonna be screwed. So
she can make from her bonds $125,000. Like, so. But I did think it was interesting though with the shares that she got paid out of. It's $190,000, but now she has a total of like double that. So it's like, even if you sat on the board of directors and a company like Tyson's Chicken was popular, like you can live off $190,000 a year.
see, the problem with Tyson Chicken is because they pay a retainer, so that means that she can stay on the board, but not really actively like. So right now she doesn't have a say in the input on it, but if anything goes under, she can come back now and go to Tyson Chicken.
$125,000 and then get Tyson Chicken. And see, Tyson Chicken was accused. They've been having their stuff, but I just thought this was an interesting story, because the way I always look at businesses is like, she may have played games at some time, but like, how did you? You don't have a story of like starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
And you were a game developer who worked their way up to do this. It seems like to me,
and this is an interesting story because it's like the brand identity. It's like Microsoft doesn't have a brand identity. If you go and you say like, back in the day when you're like, oh, Microsoft, what are they good for? And and it's not absolutely nothing, but it's like you're like, oh, the Halos, the Forzas, like all that, like, oh, you can only play them on Xbox. Like, everybody loves those games. But now Halo and Forza is now you can play it on PlayStation, you can play it on Nintendo.
And that's what
So
and that's what you look at. Why would
why am I gonna buy an Xbox?
what's the reason that I would say, hey, this next console generation, I'm getting an Xbox over PlayStation.
Yeah,
There's
like
no
why
reason.
am I gonna spend $1,000 on the next system for Microsoft when I'm like, oh well, the game's gonna come to PlayStation. I'm already own a PlayStation, so I'll just wait till the games come on
Because to
PlayStation.
me, I always think like if I'm in this position and I'm her, I would be like, okay,
Oh hi her.
gamer experience. What? Let's find out. Like if you already don't know, let's find out what the gamers want. Two, our games are not going cross-platform because do we need to sell a couple more hundred thousands of games to be able to no, what we need to do is find our identity as Xbox again and then start pushing. My thing is always destroying your competition regardless of who it is because you want to put the strangleholds on your competition. So Xbox wants to put the strangleholds on PlayStation because they're not going to catch Nintendo at the moment. So you put your stranglehold on it. But I do think the biggest downfall of Xbox has been Phil Spencer. I think he's the whole reason why this company has turned.
Well, if you
where it's
look at Sony's aspect with, I believe it's Mark Cerny, he's not a gaming like person. He's more of the tech side. So he like knows the ecosystem of building the console on it. So like when he does his stuff on there, a lot of people find it boring because it's all like, this is 50 teraflops of internal XD, gum thing like that, and like most average people are just gonna be like, what does that mean? Does it go fast?
Some
Does
people
it go
are
to
like,
that?
"Oh, that sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool."
And so like people don't know. So he's not the one who was like, well what this will do will, like that kind of stuff there. But he's involved in the ecosystem of it where she just came from another company and then, helped to build their company and change it up to the dynamics from what she learned from
I don't
Tyson
necessarily believe she's changed it up yet in the 6 years that she's.
Well, I mean, she's
8 years
acquired all those other companies on there, and that's what she probably did with Tyson Chicken.
I mean,
she learned that from there.
You got to think like, yeah, we just had the money to buy them out. That's it. Like, those games were Blizzard's already been pretty successful on its own. Like, you didn't be like, hey, we brought out a new MMO, a new paid for play, whatever, and that's what made us successful. So.
I mean, I would never had it on my bingo card that you'll see Microsoft on another console. So, but our next story: has anybody played Highguard? Nope, not me. Apparently, not a lot of people, because they fired their dev team within 2 weeks after the live service launched, and what I heard from a lot of people who actually downloaded it and played it, I mean, I was going to because it kind of looked cool, but then when I heard a bunch of the reviews where it's like a massive map in a game, but it was a 3v3 people, so they said that you would never find that opposite team to get any kills because it was such a big map and not a big player count to compete against that. It was like, okay, this seems dead. And then once people found that out, then it dropped there. That now I think that they updated it where it's like 5v5. But this game had it where you pick a base, you protect the base, and then you have to go to the opponent's base and try to like take over and destroy their stuff on the base. That's pretty much what it is. And then you get, loot along the way and kind of stuff like that. But I heard from a lot of people that like the game just gets boring real super quick, and this team was supposed to have some promise on it because it's from the people that made Overwatch and made it was just Overwatch, I believe it was game, and that game was pretty popular. So I don't know if this game is going to last too much longer, or if it might just be one where they keep putting up updates and changing the game that then people who or go and play it will be like, oh, this is a completely different game from when it first came out, and then it ends up becoming fun.
So I think the biggest thing though is you got to think. I think it's the input from Jeff Keighley that actually made this game kind of noticeable. because remember it said that if it was revealed at the 2025 Game Awards.
Yeah, and they paid supposedly to him they paid nothing.
But my whole thing I always talk about when you're looking at the layoffs of these employees is it should be the person in charge who made these decisions should be the one that has to step down, because you got to think like all the developers, and so you probably have a senior project manager who put all this stuff together, who gave the green light. There was somebody who gave the green light to say this is what you should create, this is what you should do. That person who gave the green light should be the one saying, if they're getting paid millions of dollars, should be the one saying, here's my paycheck to all these people that were laying off because you made that decision and had a failed game.
Yeah, because like what I see like with making the game, and like I've dabbled in game making before, but like for me, I'm like, okay, so you come up with the concept of a game that you want to have. So at this point, they want to have a hero shooter. So then you go, do a couple designs, whatever, like play test it or whatever. But you got to find the ass up of getting somebody who's just some rando, play it and see like how it's fun. Because if you could be making like the best looking game, the best whatever game, but if your game's not fun, nobody's gonna want to play and stick with it because the game is boring or the game sucks, and they're like, why is this game even made?
The way I look at it,
you got to have that hook and that draw.
The way I look at it is like Helldivers 2. For instance, like a rando like me has never played the first one, but I saw the second one, and then I saw people playing it, and I was like, this actually looks good. Oh, how much is it? Oh, $30?
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
I mean, that was one of the things.
Dark
I mean,
Knight,
this was free.
Do you want to play? Who's another rando who doesn't play these games like that? Oh, yeah, sure. I'll try it. And then we ended up trying it, liking the game.
Yeah.
So you got to think of, like, this game here. For one, I heard it at the Game Awards. I was just like, I don't even care. So you already lost my attention on stuff like that. But this is where I think that they tried to say, like, because of how popular Jeff Keighley is and things like that, like, this game would take off. But, I mean, you could see the accomplishment last longer than Concord. But this, you just got to think of it like it's. I think it has, whoever is the publisher at this Wildlight Entertainment needs to be the one who like takes responsibility for it. I feel like you failed at making the game for whatever reason, you greenlighted it, and then it's everybody else's fault because you did not make the game good. Whereas you gave the green light, you should have had your market research done. Yeah. You should have been able to have it tested. Have groups of testing it. Usually, you come up with a playable game for a little bit, have people test it, give feedback on it, and see what it's like and things like that. Like, you didn't go through the stages of being able to test it to see if this game would actually take off. And then you blamed everybody else by laying them off by saying, oh, well, we didn't make money off of it. No, you greenlighted it. You should be the one to say, hey, I have to step down, give up my paycheck. This is where I think the people who are like CEO of these companies and run these companies, they should be like, I get no paycheck. I'll get a percentage of like every game sold, because then they have skin in the game of trying to make the game good.
Or if it's like, I don't get paid until this game
hits a certain
milestone, then I'll start getting paid this millions of dollars or whatever.
And they won't
because
do that
then they're gonna try to get it all.
But you got to think, like, if you truly believe that this game is that good, and you're gonna back, like, if you thought, like, you're the project manager on Helldivers 2, and you're like, well, hey, if it hits 1 million, then I start to
or even do like I'll take $1 for everything that gets bought on there, and then if it hits 1 million. Like active users or whatever there, then I get this bonus. And you make it like that, because then the backers to it are like, I'm not going to really waste that much money because it's only $1. So if it bombs, well, I'm paying this dude $1, and then your game hits that million, then they're going to be like, okay, this game is there. The problem like with this game here, and like you said with like the person who greenlighted it, is I see it in the corner where it says there's a review, and they said it's a jack of all trades shooter. That's your problem, is you're trying to be everything that's popular from all these other loot shooters, hero shooter games, and try to put it into one. instead of just trying to make what is your game that gets that hook into people that want to continue to go play it. You could have made it completely different and have a different hook on it that then people would do. Like maybe like I don't know, make it medieval.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's a medieval type game that's a hero shooter that you get to play with like a Dark Knight. You get to play with like a squire or a mage.
Here's a couple things to me. One, was it free to play?
Yeah,
I don't even know. Okay,
yeah,
so it's free to play. But then two, what was even it says it's an action
actually,
shooter.
I don't know if it was free to play. I think it might have been like $30.
You know what? I should see if it's on sale and I can go and get one. Highguard.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I think it might have been like $30. I don't think it was free.
But no, it was a free to play hero.
It was
shooter.
free. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's the thing though is when I'm like looking at this too, like okay, it's an action shooter. I have no clue even. Like it's an action shooter. I have no clue what this concept for this game was, but apparently, it's supposed to be really good. But okay, so like I'm looking at these guys, these directors, Chad Grenier and Edouard Tatan, if I said their names correctly. They're the ones who directed it to be able to greenlight on all these things here. They should be the ones that have to give up their salaries for all this stuff because I think. I think it's only fair, like, if these guys truly... I think that's even for everybody, even in Sony, like, hey, you're at Guerrilla Games, you believe that this new Horizon, multiplayer is going to do... Okay, then you know what? You put skin in the game. Yep. If you're the one who came up with it, and you're telling me it's going to be really good, you greenlight it by saying, okay, I'll take a percentage base of that. Because now you're saying is... You're going to really want to make this game really good or it's going to fail because you believe in it. Or is it just, you get paid up front or however, you get paid off of it. And then you're just sitting back on that money like, I don't care. We'll just try to meet the deadlines, whatever. Because I'm getting paid let's say $1 million for being able to make this. And we just recoup it based off of, however. Because you also got to think too. Like, okay, so this said it was a PvP raid shooter where players take on roles of wardens, described as an arcane gunslinger fight control over mythical content. Matches involve competing with rival crews to secure pivotal objectives such as shield breakers, which enables teams to launch assaults on an enemy base. This game combines traditional first-person shooter mechanics with elements such as mounted combat, destructible environments, and fantasy-inspired abilities. It supports cross-platform and cross-progression at its launch.
It doesn't seem like to me that seems boring.
Yeah.
On there, but all right. So we'll pivot on this one, and Robert Wheeler Gaming opened up this Magic's the Gathering card pack on there, so you could watch this video on there. Did we get a banger of a card for this Aetherdrift pack? You got to go see it in the video to find out if we did it. And so, after this one...
Alrighty guys, we got this Magic the Gathering Aetherdrift booster pack. We're going to open this up and see if there's anything good that we get. So as I'm opening this, make sure you subscribe to our channel as we can get more loot box openings here and get some really good stuff going on there. So there's your first one there. And as we go, let's take a look. Now, as we go through these cards, you gotta let me know, how long have you guys been playing Magic the Gathering? Are you excited for these new sets, or is it something that you guys kind of wish that, maybe there's no longer good play cards that you guys like to get? Or, just tell me more about it. How long have you been doing the Magic the Gathering stuff? I collected a lot back in the day, so we got some of the earlier packs, but you never know. But yeah, 14 cards here. Ooh, that one's pretty cool. You can see all these shiny looking ones. Definitely be able to, we'll let you guys know what they are on the channel as we go through these, but kind of just want to show them off. And that's the last one there. So hey, definitely take a look. Let us know your favorite Magic the Gathering card, and make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, because do yourself a favor and get some good content.
We're going to the next story. So the next story is we were talking about.
I clicked on that. Should I click off of it?
We were talking about these hero shooters and stuff like that. Well, Sony's trying to take another crack at it. This time with a shooter called 4 Loop. Now, I saw the trailer at the State of Play that they had, and in the State of Play they showed this 4 Loop on it. And to me, I'm going to say this, I'm going to put it out there, this game's going to bomb. This game's not, like, they're trying so hard for people to like this game, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be that great of a game. Like, with this and, what's that other one that's coming out? What's that one that's coming out soon?
For
Sony. I can't think of the game right now.
I don't know what game you're even talking about.
The game that's just like this 4 Loop. It's coming out in like March or whatever.
Oh, Marathon.
Marathon, yes. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Don't know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, like Marathon, like, they're trying so hard to get the shooter kind of like this success of Helldivers 2. They're trying so hard from that because Destiny 2, I mean, some would say it was a success, so, and others would say that, like, that's all that they had. Like, all these other ones, like Concord and all that stuff, failed, and so they don't have anything else on this. And when I saw the trailer for this 4 Loop, like, I was just like, okay, I've seen this before in tons of other games, so, like, what's this hook?
Well, let's see. The game is an emergent, challenging co-op combat sandbox. 4 players on the team just debuted some of the new game footage. That's what it's all about.
But basically, it's
Left 4 Dead.
Well, you're doing the things over and over again with your 4 players, and each run is supposed to be different because it's like a roguelike also. So they're pretty much putting, like the previous game with the Highguard, is they're putting all these different genres all into one to hope that something will stick with somebody on there playing. So I wasn't interested in this one. I thought it was just okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was going to be one that's going to be like, oh, I got to hurry up and pre-order this game. This game is going to be the next, big shooter, thing. Like the next big thing that everybody talks about. I'm already going to predict it. It's going to bomb. Well, it's going to be the next console.
This person who wrote this article says it's an odd game to describe, but what it seems to boil down to is roguelike-ish runs where you go through various mission types to fight back against an alien enemy. It seems efforts have been made to ensure that each run is unique, with lots of emergent elements popping in to surprise players and force them to improvise. The game has interesting ideas, and there seems to be plenty of potential for chaotic fun with friends, but by the same token, we can't help but feel it looks a little generic, at least visually. There's just something not quite clicking with us. And that's kind of the same feeling.
Well, see, if it's with the person who wrote the article.
Person who wrote the article.
Yeah.
This person.
The person who wrote the article for...
it's interesting and uninteresting
for this website, Push Square.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they're not even... And they're saying it's generic and stuff like that, then right there... It's gonna bomb. Because, like I said, Sony's so desperate to have a game that could continue on multiple years that they could just keep throwing in all the...
I mean, you got Helldivers 2. Just stick with that one. Make it...
Well, because Helldivers 2 is for every system, though. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing, is they want their exclusive game that's kind of like Destiny that they can do for many, 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 many years. But the thing is it's just like these ones. They try to do everything on there because they want to be like, oh, I want to be like Fortnite. So we're going to have ones where, it's arena based where it closes in up on like Call of Duty did. Oh, we got to have zombies. Oh, because Call of Duty has zombies. And it's like, no, you make something that would be unique for you and you'll get the people to go do it. Yep. It's kind of like if you were in a drink company and you're like, well, like let's I'm gonna throw something out there for instance. So like let's say like your Monster Energy or whatever, and you're like, well, Red Bull, they're number one, and they got this Mountain Dew flavor on there. Well, now we have to have a Mountain Dew flavor because that's selling it for them, and we have to have it, exactly like that. Oh, and it has to be perfectly on there. It's like, why? Why don't you come up with a different flavor that's going to be your, oh, wow, this is a better thing. I'm only going to go buy this. Why do you have to keep opening up different divisions
Copying
for
different
it?
people.
So it's like, oh, we opened up this one about it's water and, flavored water and an energy. Oh, well, now we have to have that because the number one company already has that, and we're going to do it. And that's
where,
the problem.
That's where I think it is, like, with these games, is because they're, like, when you think sandbox, you think of more of, like, a Fortnite and things like that. And you don't have a lot of innovation. Like, these guys should be the ones who say, I want to create a game where I'm the first in that industry.
Yes.
And everybody says,
then everybody else
oh,
copies
it's
it.
like for loop. That's how you want to do it.
Yeah,
But
because like Fortnite when it first started out was a completely different game.
completely different.
It
than
was
what
kind of
everybody-
like Minecraft almost. But then they went and they evolved and created their own.
They involved it.
And then now everybody copies them.
But see, a lot of even this person, I think the best way you're going to be able to survive in this kind of environment is they need to create like an alpha. Have players kind of jump in there, and I think what would also too is you have the marketing of like streamers, YouTubers, start using them to be like, hey, we want you to promote this game, however you decide you want to, be able to talk good or bad about this game.
Yeah, I think that's
able to do
the
it.
problem it is today because I don't think that they have testers anymore. I don't think that they have people that they'll give a vertical slice to. They test the heck out of that game and then write, oh, I found a bug here, I found this, or this is not working for me because it's just so boring on there, so that then they go back and do it because I think that they want to be able to like, oh, we got to keep bringing these out there because we can fix it later on with these updates,
And things
and all
like
that, and then it'll end up paying off at the end, kind of like how No Man's Sky did it, where it was like, oh, too ambitious. And then it was a crappy game at the beginning, but now because they have all these years to fix it up and keep adding it in, now it's a decent game. Yeah. And so I think that that's what they're gonna.
But that's where I think of you think of like a rando like myself. Hey, this doesn't sound interesting to me, but if you gave me a code to be able to test it out and play it, I would test it out and give my honest opinion on it and tell you whether or not what was the fun parts I liked, what was the parts I disliked, and you take all that feedback and then you make it. Because you also got to think too, not everybody's going to like everything about the game, but there are core common things that people would like, and you can either strengthen that or take the things that, random people may not have liked different things, and then they'd be like, okay, well, like for me, I'm always, whenever you see a shooter like this, is my biggest complaint is always like, if I were to jump into it years later, I'm still under leveled and it's not fun anymore because, I didn't have the chance to play it when it came out. Now it's all updated, and people like me who come in that you're trying to get to play, it's not fun. So being able to, like different ways that you can level up in a, quicker or something.
I think
like that.
everybody wants to try to be like Claire Expedition because like for me, like I didn't think I was gonna like Claire Expedition because you were telling me about it, and I was just like, oh, it's okay, but it had that niche that everybody liked it because everybody's, even though they claim that they don't, everybody really wants a turn-based RPG. They don't want an action-based, and you see that all the RPGs that were coming out were all action-based RPGs that are trying to be like Demon Souls and trying to be like those Souls-like type games and try to be action like Devil May Cry or Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. And people were like getting sick of them, and they're like, we just want the old school one. And the people at Expedition 33 were like, we grew up on turn-based RPGs. Let's make a turn-based RPG that's not boring like the old, turn-based RPGs. But we're gonna expand on it to make it more interesting. And look what they did. Like that game, like. All these other companies are mad and jealous at this company because they're not a AAA developer, and they won all these awards that they had to make up rules to take away some of their awards because they were mad that a double A studio or an A studio, because they're not even really considered double A, was able to, one, outperform them because they sold it at a reasonable price,
Yep.
and two, it was popular because it had that hook in it. Because, like, when I played the game, my favorite character on there was Gustav. And what happened to him at the end of chapter 1, I was like...
Well, I mean, you can tell people now it's been
Yeah.
pretty much a year.
It was like, I was not expecting that to even happen. I didn't expect anybody to die in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, I was like, man, that was my favorite character. Like, what happened? Like, that got me, like, I was like, unexpected on that more than Aerith dying in Final Fantasy VII, because I never played with her. So I didn't really care really too much when she died. I was just like, oh, okay.
Were you crying
you know,
when Gustav died?
No, I wasn't crying there, but I was just like, why'd they kill off this guy? Like, what's the point?
But you know what? I think of it how you're talking about with turn-based. Like, I think of, for a game, like, a franchise I like, or the Atelier series.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But Atelier Yumiya went to more of that action when you're fighting. But then now that Resurrena, however you pronounce it, the next one, that one went back to a turn-based. And it's because, like, you got to see, like, it's slowly starting to, it's kind of in that paradox of people are like, I still like turn-based in my RPGs, but I also still like action. And I think you're starting to see, like, for me, I like turn-based just because I'm not quick enough to be able to be like, okay, hit this, do that. It takes me a long time to be able to figure all that stuff out.
Well, I understand that they're trying to get the new
crowd,
like the new younger people to
Yeah.
enjoy the game, but then you also getting rid of the people that made you as a company.
Because you think of
on there.
Legends of Trials, Trials in the Sky. That's an action-based game. And it makes you wonder if they're going to go back to non-action-based after this series is done. Because people are going back to, what's normal. So
Well, it makes it interesting to see what Square Enix is going to do, because in Final Fantasy 17, is that going to go to turn-based that's going to copy Claire Expedition? Or if they're going to go back off the rails and do some weird...
I think it will copy
action.
Expedition 33, but I think you're going to have fans complain, oh, this is like Expedition 33. Like, they're not going to be satisfied that...
Because, I mean, with the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, like, they went back to action. They didn't go to turn-based on there, so there wasn't really a turn-based... I mean, there was technically, like, kind of like you could do a turn-based, but really it's not a turn-based on there as these RPGs are. And you can tell that people want turn-based because look at how much, like, the Dragon Quest games sell a lot on there.
Yakuza went back to doing that.
The Octopath, like, those ones, like, so there's a market for turn-based ones on there, but you can modernize it, make it where, like how Claire Expedition did it, where it was turn-based, but then you also had the action mechanics of, I had a dodge, do perfect dodges and stuff like that. And
one recently I played, because we're seeing the ad for it, Yakuza, when I first played that, I thought they had a really good battle. It was turn-based, but the way that they did the turn-based, I thought it still kept you engaged with being able to play the game. That's how your turn-based should be. And I thought it actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah. So that was one of the games that stood out for me on the State of Play. This next one's going to be our last story. If you didn't know, they announced the God of War Trilogy Remake for the God of War 3. And then they also announced God of War The Sons of Sparta, which is a Metroidvania side-scrolling type game. So we'll talk about the God of War Trilogy first. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this trilogy is going to be like Final Fantasy VII Remake, where you're going to get one in like 5 to 10 years, and then it's going to keep getting out where it's like 5 more years. So we will probably not finish this story until like PlayStation like 8 probably will come out, and then they're going to remake those onto those consoles on there, because I don't see them making all 3 games into the one. Even though they say the God of War Trilogy Remake, I don't think that they're going to put all 3 into one game on there. So I think that they're going to make God of War 1, and then 10 years later God of War 2, and then 10 years later God of War 3, because they're going to claim, oh, well, it's so hard to go make them. And I'm also probably going to go out on a limb that it's going to look more like the God of War 2008 one or 2018 one, the one with the Ragnarok and all that. It's going to look more like that. I don't think that they should have even redid this, in my opinion. I think that they should have just made him go into a new phase. Like, maybe, like, since they did the Norse mythology with Ragnarok, maybe they should go to the Egyptian mythology and have him fight, Anubis and all those gods in the Egyptian mythology, and do the hieroglyphics on that one, because then they could tell a whole new story and not even have Atreus in it. It could have just been like, he went into another dimension or something like that, like how the end of God of War 3, where it's like, he fell off the cliff and then you see a bloody trail on it, you didn't know where he was, and then they made the God of War 2018 one, and he found out that he went into the Norse realm and been living there for a whole time and had, a life there, and then the events from God of War 3 came out to haunt him, and he had to go back to being the slave of the God of War 3. So, like, story-wise, like, you could have made more of an interesting story by continuing the story, not having to remake it. Like, they're doing this, like, Sony's going in the opposite direction, in my opinion, because they did that with, like, The Last of Us.
Yep.
They remade that for the PS5.
Horizon.
On their Horizon. Like, they're going backwards on it instead of coming up with, or continuing the story, or coming up with something completely new.
Mm-hmm.
They're going back, oh, well, we got to remake what made us popular. Like, keep going to do it. Like, I understand, like, maybe if those games were stuck on a system that you couldn't get anymore, like, I can understand, like, maybe that could be a good reason to bring it up, or just make it like a trilogy back. Like, they already had this remade, I think God of War 3 remade for the PS4, so they already have, like, the better version of it on there. So do you really need to remake the other two?
Yeah, see, and that's where my guess, when I was doing my predictions for what they were going to say, I was close. I would say no, because remember I said there's going to either be a remaster or a remake of the God of War, originals. And the only reason why is because I thought of two things. One, it's like the 20th anniversary of God of War for the original games. But two, it's Sony being Sony, because you got to think, like, when we were talking about it the other day, The Last of Us the first game was really good. But then they went off this rabbit trail of ruining the second game. And then they just had to remaster the first one.
And it took, like, a long time to come out for the second one on there. Instead of just,
Same thing with Horizon. Horizon Zero Dawn was a really great game. And then you ruined it with Forbidden West. And, like, the way you did it. And then you remastered the first one on the PS5. And now 3 isn't probably going to come out for another 10 more years. And now people are really going to forget about, because now what you're going to do is when you're about to release 3 on the PS6, you're going to re-release, remaster 1 and 2 again to put it on the PS6 to get that money, to get the more money for the people who actually like that franchise. And I think that's what the biggest problem I start to see with developers, especially like people like Sony, and I even criticize Ubisoft for this, is like, you have to say, okay, I'm making God of War, but now Santa Monica Studios is also making a smaller development game with a small handful of people that are going to make a game that can recoup you some money just in case this fails. I don't think it's going to fail, but, like, that's the mindset you have to think of, is you always have to think of, like, I have to innovate for a newer game, because what if that character, like in Aloy, for instance, takes off and becomes your, like, a next $1 million franchise. So, like, that's how you have to start. Santa Monica has to look at it and go, yeah, we're making a trilogy remake, but we also need other developers to start coming up with things that are going to give. So if this takes 5 years, what can you make in 2 or 3 years? That's going to make us money to keep us going while we're making.
Also, I was reading some of the articles, and people are worried that they're going to ruin this franchise.
They more than likely
because they're going to more modernize this franchise instead of sticking with what the
original,
what the Greek mythology is. And is it going to be like a 1-for-1 remake, just with the
It's not.
2018 like Kratos like skins and stuff like that. Because like one person was talking about how in the original God of War they had like those like a bunch of nudity or a bunch of the sex scenes and stuff like that. Like, are they gonna keep that in this, or are they gonna completely like take it out? Like, was it necessary or is it not necessary? And what I say about that is the same thing with the Game of Thrones. Was it necessary to have that in the part? If it's not necessary to have it in the part, then don't add it in there. If it was necessary to have it in there, then put it in there. So if you're complaining about like, oh, they should go take this out or change these characters and swap them out to different characters and stuff like that, like, is it necessary? Like, do you have to ruin a franchise that was already existing to make it more modernized because you're afraid of what's going to happen if you just keep it the same?
Why couldn't you continue the after Ragnarok and things like that? Because you got to think, God of War is Santa Monica Studios, one of their most popular franchises. Yeah. But you're taking a step back by saying we're going to remake. Now, we're going to remake it and put a different spin on what was already popular. Like, that's the same thing I was telling you with Final Fantasy Tactics. Don't touch the story. Remaster it, polish it up, do all that. But don't go back and say, here's what we would have thought of if no, who cares? Make a sequel, make a prequel, make whatever. But I thought the best part of this announcement was I really like that TC Carson guy. When I heard him talk, I was like, dude, this guy is great. Like, if you could sit down and have coffee with this dude, I thought he was pretty cool. But yeah, they say it's still in the early stages of development, which makes me believe that this game isn't coming out.
It's not going to come out for a long time. But also the problem I have with this is that it shows to me that they couldn't come up with anything else.
They don't have any.
Like, they have nothing else.
Any new ideas.
Like, with a lot of people said that like Ragnarok wasn't that great of a story.
I played it. It was not great.
And that they said that the next logical one would have been Atreus's story, kind of like how they did with Uncharted, where they had the one with Chloe side story on that one. They said that was supposed to be.
You haven't played it, but Atreus ends up running off with like he meets some
chick,
and he runs off with her to go help her out, and like Kratos is basically like, yeah, you can, you can go. So you could have branched off with the storyline, something like
with
that.
Atreus, and then come back with finish off that Norse mythology, because I think that they rushed it too quick by having Odin and Thor and all those ones in there, and then pretty much I heard that the story wasn't that great. Good. It was kind of like a DLC type game, is how some people were describing Ragnarok.
But it was weird though, because Ragnarok, it was like basically you went to different like
realms again.
Yeah, but it was like different shrines. You had to activate this one, and you went in there, completed it for whatever it was, and then it's like you come out, you have your main hub, and then you go do it again. Like, that was never God of War to me.
Yeah.
Whereas like I have my own central base, and then I got to go all. It was more of like you were traveling to the end, because I believe, if I remember correctly, like the 2018 one was kind of like you didn't have a central hub. Well, you did have a central hub of like your house, but you didn't really have
but you branched off, and then you went into that one
different
world where you had to
like
move it to the different realms. So you did the realms, and that's why in this one you were in it. But like, to me, it seems like they ran their course with this one. They're like, oh, should we do the Egyptian one? No, because I don't think people will like that way that it's going. Let's just remake the first one and spend like 20 years coming up with the God of War on it. Because once the first one comes out, especially if it comes out for the PS6 and stuff like that, like, to finish off the story, like, people are going to get bored with this one. So is the trilogy really going to be remade and done? Like, and then plus, what happens if this takes like 20, 30 years and that TC Carson guy dies?
Yeah, and you want him as the original voice actor.
He was the original voice actor for God of War when they give him the voice. So are they going to like film his voice acting for the whole entire game? Like the whole entire trilogy of this reimagined remake type one?
Yeah.
Or are they going to do a branch, and then now like he dies, and now they're like, well, we just got to take footage from the original and then kind of splice it in to go make it. And it's not really, this guy there. And then same with the God of War, the 2018 one with Ragnarok and stuff. Like, what happens when that voice actor guy dies? Now, you wasted the time to not make a third one with this guy. So now, what's going to happen? Like, you're going to have to get new voice actors and new voices, and people are really going to, like it. Like,
Yeah.
These people are not going to live forever, so, you're going to have to.
What are your thoughts,
it.
though? Have you heard anything good about that Castlevania one that they shadow dropped of the God of War? Have you heard anything good about that one?
I heard
the Sons of Sparta.
I heard that people are mad about that because it said it was supposed to have 2-player co-op, but the caveat on that one is you have to beat the game first, and then it unlocks the 2-player mode on there, and so people are saying that's false advertising and that they want their money back because they were under the impression that they can play the whole entire game with either online co-op or couch co-op.
Yeah.
Mine, when I saw this impression that it's the Sons of Sparta, from what I remember from Sparta's from like the movie 300 and stuff, was that the Spartans never had powers. They were just like the strong warriors, and they were, they fought like these like demon type characters or these gods, but they were able to beat them like normal. So with this being a somewhat prequel to the prequel ones from the PlayStation version, this is supposed to be when Kratos is young with his brother, and they're learning how to become Spartans and going into the Spartan War. And if you remember from like the first one, like he about to lose in the war, and then he like sells his soul to Ares so he can become the God of War, so he can, have the power to win that war. So in this one, I was seeing that they were showing him fighting different like mythical creatures with powers, and then he gets the powers. And I'm like, how does that make any sense? If he's a Spartan, he never had the god powers until he gave up his soul.
So that's
but when he sold his soul to Ares, that was in the first God of War. This is before the first God of War. So if he was able to have these powers in the first God of War, in this the Sparta one, then why would he need to sell his soul to Ares in God of War 1 to have enough power to win that war? Like, it makes no sense on there. So I think that if you think of it logically, I don't think that this that game is going to do good. Graphic wise, it's like, it's okay. It didn't really look anything like too impressive in the game. I didn't want to go out to go, let me go buy the game. Like, if it was free, I'd probably pick it up and play it because they shadow dropped it. But I'll probably wait till the game goes cheaper or whatever. I mean, it is like $30 or $40 or whatever. But to me, the way that it looks and like the stuff that it is, I don't think it's worth it. And if that whole thing does go through and there's a lawsuit on it, then because I mean, what do you think about games? Like, should the co-op be held behind like beating the game first, or that should be something where if you say it's a co-op enabled game, like that should be from the start, and like maybe like unlock like costumes at the end, like Resident Evil. Like, if they made Resident Evil, if they say on the box or on the store, like 2-player co-op, and you're playing Resident Evil, and you're like, oh cool, 2-player co-op, I could go play, with my friend or whatever.
Yeah.
But now you have to wait until you beat the game. So now you're like the expert of the game, but your friend has never played it and doesn't even know how to play the controls and stuff like that. Where is if you did it both players playing at the time, then you could be like, okay, hey, get my back. Like, oh, here's the way
I think they did it because they want like this game probably doesn't have a lot of replay value, and it's probably boring during co-op So they wanted to do it in a way of like you're gonna play through it first, and if you really want to play with somebody, then like you have to beat the game. But no, I think if you're pushing it as more of a couch co-op, it should just be available from the start.
Yeah.
I should be able to just hand it over to you and be able to play. It
Or
shouldn't
have two controllers and play like that.
it shouldn't have to be where like I have to beat your game because like I'm always pushing. Once I beat your game, if you want me to go through a second time, it has to be really good, or like a different story. Like I'm thinking of Resident Evil right now. Like Claire's story has to be really good for me to be able to go through it again because I just beat for Leon. Like in RPGs and things like that, like you don't want to put in 100 hours. So maybe you play this game, you put in 30 hours. Now, do I want to because you haven't played it yet and I already beat it? I want to play with you though. Like wait for you to beat it, and then it could take for however long, and then now once I go through co-op, I'm already bored of the game because I've already beat it. So I think what is also good though is experiencing the game together as co-op because there may be something that I'm like, whoa, this enemy was like totally awesome, and I already know about it, and then you get there and like I'm sitting and watching, you're just kind of like, but you might have had a different reaction if I saw it at the same time and I was like,
Or it's like,
this thing's awesome.
Now for you, like, just stand back. I have this most powerful dagger or whatever, so I'll be able to just take it off and carry you. And you're like, well, I thought we were playing together. Like, I don't get to attack this guy. Like, oh, well, you're going to lose. Or it's like, oh, you're starting there. Oh, I didn't know that there was a dodge button. Oh, you ruined the whole run.
Oh,
now we got to start back from the beginning.
You're
like
terrible because I have an infinite rocket launcher and you don't.
And it's like that kind of stuff like that where I think that they should have had co-op there, or do the one where you're going to do co-op, but do it kind of like how It Takes Two and all those ones where it's like you can give the free game to like your friend and they can go play it. And
you
stuff
could
like
give
that.
them a co-op online, or just patch it in.
Yeah,
I mean, that
or
you
just
can do too.
Make it from the start, like not unlock
lawsuit as you're talking about. I don't think there's going to be grounds to stand because they did say co-op, but they did not say when the co-op was. So there is co-op in the game. They just didn't say it was starting at the beginning of the game.
They may have it because like if you look at other games that say co-op, there wasn't like you have to beat the game first. Like co-op was from the beginning.
You know, like I can do it for instance, RPG game that we recently played, that they just released on the network. It's coming out for the Switch. My brain isn't working right now, but that game we wanted to play co-op, and I had to go through the story a little bit in order to get to that town to play co-op.
Oh, you're talking about Jensen?
No.
Not that one?
No, not Jensen Impact.
Oh.
We were just playing it because we just got to the town to be able to play co-op. Why I can't think of that?
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink?
Thank you, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. It's co-op, but I have to go and finish the first, like the prologue, in order to get there. So can I go and sue Grand Blue Fantasy because it's not co-op right when I start the game? So that's why I don't think it has grounds to stand on, because it does say it's co-op, but they didn't have to explain when the co-op was going to happen. So that's where I think...
Yeah, I mean, I can see it that way.
Like, if I wanted to go with Grand Blue Fantasy, you said I could play co-op, but you didn't say I had to make it to this town to be able to play co-op. So now, I'm going to go and, sue you because you didn't say I had to make it at this town. That's where I don't think they have grounds. I think it's going to be tough, too, to be able to say it's false advertising. Because, no, they do have co-op in there. It's just you got to beat the game to be able to play co-op.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's going to be harder for people to... I mean, my biggest thing, just patch it in. You have that, the downfall of that starting out. You realize it didn't work, just patch it in and say, hey, you know what? We thought this concept would work. We realized it didn't work. We're going to let you guys play co-op.
And I believe, though, that with the co-op, it's not even the story mode. I believe it's like kind of like arena battle and whatnot like that. So it's like...
And that's not even fun.
Yeah, so it's not like they're even going to play it all. So, I mean... whatever. They want to do that. If they want to ruin their game and not sell a lot, like let them sell a lot on there. But see, like here it says, does God of War Sons of Sparta have co-op or multiplayer controversy explained.
Yeah,
But-
I think it's a little tough with grounds to stand on to be able to say, "You guys gonna have co-op, I'm gonna sue you." Well, tough toenails.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all the stories that we have this week on there. Below, put your comments on. Do you think if a game says that they have co-op, it should be co-op from the start, or should they put like an asterisk that tells you like you have to unlock co-op first? What was your standout games from the state of play that they showed? Do you think that 4-loop game's going to bomb? Like, I think it is. I think it's going to bomb from the start, and it's not going to do good. What's your story about Highguard? Did you play it? Did you enjoy that game, or did you think it was just on there? We do this every week. We have fun doing this, and we'll see you on the next episode on there. And hopefully, by that time, you played the Sparta game or whatever. But we'll see you on the next one.
God bless you guys.
Yep,
Take it
see ya.
easy.